For Tract 12, 16.88 acres, so just shy of 17 acres. This is surveyed, has a recent survey here with the corners marked, so that's always a good thing. It's about 300 feet wide. It goes back to the south from the easement road for a little over 2,000 feet. So on a tract like this, we generally say it looks long and thin, and it is long, but it is not thin. This is 300 feet wide. It's a wooded property. So when you're talking about until you're out there, I mean, a lot of people are familiar with this, and they're like, oh, it's 300 feet. Yeah, that's really wide. But if you're standing out there, you've got 150 feet of trees on either side of you. That's about as private as it can get. So in this case, we've got the driveway. It does have an existing driveway and a site, which the guys cleared out. So that goes back from the easement road several hundred feet and then opens up into the little cleared area. I mean, you're about as private as you can be, and you're just scratching the surface on what you can do on this property because it goes back hundreds and hundreds of feet from there. So opportunity for a lot of different sites. If you wanted to do perhaps a long shooting range, we've talked to a lot of hunters who want a property with dimensions like this. They can clear out a firing lane or a shooting lane in the middle. You can do, I mean, you could do a mile of four-wheeler trails if you circled the property here. So pretty cool situation as far as that goes. Nice timber on this tract. We saw a ton of mature timber, mostly hardwood trees. So red oak, white oak, hickory. Although we did see some pine out here as well, some beautiful pine trees. So, I mean, keep that in mind. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous tract. As far as topography, why don't we switch over to a topo map? We'll show you how this ground lays here. Whoops, we're using the MapRight interactive map, by the way. You'll see the same map on the listing page for the property. Okay, so from the easement road, the gravel easement road, the property slopes down fairly gradually. It shows it crossing a little creek bed, and I'm sure you'll see that out there. It's not going to be running most of the year. That's going to be just a seasonal creek bed. You cross over that, and it gradually slopes back up. You can see approximately where the site is. So as you go south from there, it actually continues to slope up, to rise up. And once you get to about the middle, you're at the highest point. So if you wanted potentially a site, with a great view, probably this middle part of the property would lend itself well to that. It looks to be fairly level up here. I mean, so you could even potentially have a large yard area if you wanted a large level area for a yard. Or if you wanted to do more of a walkout style, an earth shelter style, I mean, you've got the slopes for that as well. From the middle of the property, as we keep going south, it's sloping down gradually, and then you actually have an additional creek bed here on the south side. And we have not walked back to that one, but most creeks in the Ozarks you can assume are going to be kind of seasonal or wet weather creeks, although you will see some really cool rock features and whatnot if you have a creek bed on this property and on your property, and this one happens to have two. So pretty cool there. Let's go back to the aerial. So as far as location, extremely private, but you're only about 2 miles from a paved road from Highway 17 over here. So from Highway 17, if you're coming from the north, from West Plains, you actually hit the state line right here, and you immediately go east onto Republican Road. So you're coming from Missouri, you'll see the Welcome to Arkansas sign. Immediately go left on the gravel road, which is Republican Road, and you go east for about 2 miles. You'll come to a T in the road right here, and it's almost directly across, but you've got to jog over to the right about 50 feet, and then that's the start of the easement road. It is a private easement road for property owners and their guests, so very peaceful, very private. There's probably a gate at the start. I think it's a blue gate, so get a hold of us. We'll give you the combo for that. You can go right on in and do some exploring here. So as far as I'm trying to zoom in, but there we go. Again, as we mentioned, it is surveyed with the corners marked. The MapRights are not precise. They're not a survey, but in this case, the property is surveyed. So when you get out there, you'll see the pins in the corners. This shows a tiny bit of meadow area on the northeast part of the property, and the MapRight could be a little shifting one way or the other when you get out there and see the pin, but again, you will see the pin. So look for that when you get out there. I keep saying pin, that's the survey term, but it's It's essentially a piece of rebar that's driven into the ground, sticks up about a foot, and has a yellow cap on it with the surveyor's information. Right next to that, you'll probably see a T-post or a fence post that has been pounded as well, because it's easy to lose track of those survey markers once the grass and whatnot starts to grow up. Plus, the wildlife love to eat the plastic caps. I don't know why they don't just use aluminum caps or some type of metal cap. Seems like half the time the squirrels have the plastic cap chewed off within about a year. You still have the rebar, but good luck seeing a little piece of rebar, after a year or two when the grass and whatnot has grown up. But I mean, awesome tract as far as hunting, as far as privacy. We're about 5 miles from the White Ranch Conservation Area, which gives you several thousand acres of additional land for hunting and picnicking and camping and fishing and swimming and all that good stuff. And actually, in this location, we're about 30 miles from the Mark Twain National Forest, which gives you a couple 100,000 acres of additional hunting land and trail riding and all that good stuff. And we're about 30 minutes from, I believe it's Norfolk Lake. Either Norfolk or, can't think of the other one, but, well, now it's going to bug me. We might as well zoom out and take a look here. We're about 30 miles from a really nice lake. And that's going to be to the west. Although if you go to the east, you've got some cool stuff too. You've got Grand Gulf State Park, Thayer, and then Mammoth Spring, Arkansas. Okay, so that is Norfolk Lake. That's about 30 miles to the west of the property. Here you can see the White Ranch Conservation Area. And then we've got West Plains and the large shaded areas. Those are going to be there's a couple of tracts. That's the Mark Twain National Forest. Awesome property. Love this tract, heavily wooded. So rare that we're able to get a property that has mature timber, has a site, has a driveway. We're pretty pumped about this, in case you can't tell. So Tract 12, just shy of 17 acres. If you have any questions about this property, give us a shout, send us an email. That goes for any of our available properties, but we're available 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. I had to think about that. Via telephone, 9 to 5, or you can email us anytime. We try to stay on top of that as well, even on weekends if possible. But get a hold of us. We would love to hear from you. You'll find all the contact info in the video description box below this if you're watching this on YouTube. Otherwise, if you're watching it on our website, you already know how to get a hold of us. So give us a call.